All right, so again, for those that are just joining us, my name is Kevin Davis, and I am a full-time real estate investor. I primarily invest in the Baltimore, D.C., Maryland market with my wife. We've been investing for about the last, let's see, we're going on 15 years, about the last 8 or so full-time, primarily in wholesaling. I've done over 300 transactions. For those that don't know me, I've coached other individuals in their real estate business and transactions. I often do quite a number of JV deals with students as well as other investors coming into our market as well as investors in our market. I've done a number of creative strategy deals from subject twos to creative financing, short sales, takeover payments, many of the creative strategies you see in the market. What we're going to focus on tonight is specifically a case study in which we show and break down the process that we utilize to bring our students up to speed quickly as possible to get their wholesaling business started. So this particular student, we're going to jump into a coaching call that we had just recently with her and breaking down the different pieces that we have to look at in terms of concept, in terms of foundation to put that business together. Again, we're talking about the building of a business. So we have to understand there's different pieces in place that we have to put together. And we're going to deep dive exactly what those pieces are, what they should look like for you, what you should be able to implement in your business quickly with those high-level mindset concepts that'll get you there, very quickly. All right. So we're going to jump right into the content here. And first and foremost, so let me guys know if you can hear the presentation. Just give me a quick shout that you're able to hear that. Awesome, awesome. You can hear. Oh, you can only hear me. Let me back this up. Technology, guys, as always, there is something that you have to work on. So bear with me a moment. Let me want to make certain we definitely get into this content. And we should be dig more into what that seller situation is. And that way you can craft the right presentation.
Oh, I set the appointment.
Let me know if you can hear that. 1 second.
Oh, I set the appointment. And we got on the phone, and the guy has all these properties in DC. But he has this one property that I thought seemed pretty good. But all his properties, the prices are a little higher, but it doesn't matter because Reese did his thing. I mean, Reese got him to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, and Reese can go back now and crunch the numbers.
Right.
So
absolutely. But dig more into what that seller situation is, and that way you can craft the right presentation and for some reason offer to them.
Yes, and we've done that, and I think that even if he doesn't accept the offer, he's got like 4 more houses, and those ones are in DC. But what I'm thinking is, if he accepts the offer, I'm going to be in, and I can then try to get a couple of those in DC too.
Exactly.
But the one that's in that place,
it
probably is going to have to be wholesale.
The programs that we offer,
but
specifically
I'm getting that. So what I guess what I was saying is that the way of integrating the whole model is what I understood you to be saying yesterday. And that's why I wanted to have the conversation. So I said, I've got these 500 additional properties. Now, how do I now select the other areas? No, I know I want to do another campaign because I really need to get these 500 properties up into a campaign because they're in DC. The numbers are good. I mean, the prices, once we beat them down, will be fine. You know what I'm saying? Because those FISBOs generated and the FRB for me generated a whole bunch more than what I got from the other funnel. So then now I want to add some Maryland stuff. I don't want to add any Virginia things. So, but how do I now, if you've got a core like this, and then you go out in the next bandwidth, which was Hyattsville, and then the next bandwidth out was Bladensburg. How do I understand what zip codes to do to move out further?
Now
How would I
remember,
understand that?
you have your model for figuring out which best zip codes. So once you've gone into that county, essentially you're going to say, okay, well, what's my zip code list? What's my hottest zip codes? So you
Oh,
have that guide already built.
yeah, yeah, that
So
thing
all you
that
have
you
to
said
do,
to run that list that you
exactly.
showed me and
So
drop that down and everything. Yeah,
exactly.
I know how to do that.
So
Yeah.
you took your top, whatever percentage was
Hmm.
30%, 20%,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
zip codes. And
yeah.
now you said, okay, well, I want to expand that. So you go from 30% to 50%. Now you have. So right here, guys, I just want to stop it really quick. Just a moment of clarity. So what we're doing, we've essentially onboarded, and this is a part of our process when we bring on our students. We onboard and we figure out exactly what pieces we need to put in place, what exactly she needs to do. As you heard, her target area, she did what's called a radius search to be able to figure out exactly what she wants to invest in based on both her goals as well as the investment goals as a wholesaler. So we continue to be able to utilize that and adjust the list that she's using in order to get those deals done. So we'll continue to listen to the call, and we're going to continue to break down even more content, beyond this. So stay tuned. Again, this is Kevin Davis, Wholesaling REI Academy, KDD Development, and we're breaking down exactly what we do to onboard our students to get them the tools necessary to be able to wholesale properties effectively. So we'll continue that call here. Have an additional, maybe 3 or 4 or maybe 5 or 6 zip codes that you can say, all right, now I've spread my focus, but I'm still targeted specifically where those hot areas are.
Okay, so that's gonna be the plus though. So I'm gonna run those so that I can at least call the lady and start the funnel. So good. So I got that. So now that's the end of the first question. So the second question is discussing the strategies brought up in the transaction engineer call with the add-ons I received. So here the 3 things that I understood you to say. The three strategies. If you get it and you don't want it, you wholesale it, or you can fix and flip, or you can keep. But now in this market, you really don't want to try to fix and flip, do you?
There are instances where you can. There's still buyers in the market. Your goal is to really, how do I put it, minimize risk.
Yes.
For instance, if I was a flipper, I may go into the market saying, okay, well, I want to use as less of my capital as possible to work with sellers that want to sell, but need to flip, need to have some repairs. So my model might be simply to approach them and say, well, let's partner, and I'll put up the capital to fix the property, and then we'll split some profit on the end. How I've set up. Now
Okay.
I've limited my risk. I'm still able to flip, and I can get into properties with less money.
Okay. All right.
So guys, you just want to stop it really quick as well. So as you see, there's so many different ways that you can put deals together and make certain that you understand exactly what you're doing. There's so many strategies with regards to wholesaling that people misconceive as a quick in and out type of situation. And what we do is figure out exactly what your goals are, figure out exactly how to break those down in terms of strategies that you can utilize, because you may be a flipper that simply wants to add wholesaling to your to your toolbox. Now that doesn't mean that when you go in certain markets you may say, well, there's no flips in this market. Well, that may not be the case, because essentially you can start to structure things in a way that makes sense. So what we really dive into with regards to wholesaling and understanding in our course is that there's different ways to structure things, whether you're a flipper, whether you're looking to wholesale, or you're buy and hold, or any of those combinations. You actually can put together a lot of different strategies that would allow you to focus and be able to maximize whatever you're doing in terms of marketing dollars and many other things. So we just want to make certain you understand that concept going in, and that's what we're breaking down to Lena here, that you can make certain that you understand exactly what options are available to be able to take advantage of as you do your marketing, as you enter a market, or as you expand your market, as she is looking to do in this particular call, where she's expanding her marketing from the initial campaign into an additional campaign to be able to maximize as much possible. So we'll continue here, and then we'll really jump in and drill down into the concepts as much as possible. There's still there's strategy to be able to, still get into things. It's really about the risk. And that's where people panic, because the fear of losing everything as opposed to losing a piece. So as an investor, you're looking to maximize your capital, to be able to maximize it across the opportunities. That may mean you take, as opposed to taking, 100,000 and putting into one property, you maximize it by, maybe picking 3 properties and only being in them, 20 or 30,000 each. So now your risk is, spread out. You're maximizing the opportunity, and you've been able to capitalize on the market, and in a way, because sellers are more open to those type of strategies, as opposed to, saying, no, I just want to be out of this thing.
Okay.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I got it. I got that.
But you have to kind of think about the strategy and the creativity of it, but ultimately, it's going to depend on the person that you're working with, how open they are to that type of strategy, what their ultimate goal is. Those are the things that you have to kind of consider in that, and to be able to form the right types of offers. That's why we typically want to present 2 different types of offers to people, at least, because ultimately people like, somewhat of a choice. Most people are somewhat logical. So if you can present something that makes sense to them, or even, in a way of presenting it, seemed like they kind of came up with it themselves, where you can simply guided them to that option. That's where we, go through that process of elimination that we talk about in the training, which is, kind of go down the line and figure out, what things can they cross off the list in terms of their options to bring you to, the 1 or 2 options that you could present to them. So obviously, that's really, quick, a part of being that transaction engineer strategy, in terms of what we figuring really deep dive that piece of our course, and how can work one-on-one, what exactly working with, so limits risk, essentially.
Okay.
What things could limit risk? How creative can I be? What type of strategy can I pull off as a lease option, maybe another way, instead of saying, hey, I don't want to put any money in a property. Let me just tie it up with some paper. Make certain I have a steady pool of individuals who have capital to, that want to buy but are challenged credit. And now I'm just, connecting the 2 together, consistently. And it doesn't matter if the properties are high priced or not. I'm locking in my price or their price now, and still capitalizing in the middle, and potentially on a consistent basis as well, depending on how you set that paperwork up. So these are the creative strategies that you can do, and quite frankly, with your skills. I mean, you've set up a lot of different things, and been able to, based on our conversation, navigate contracts and things like that before, and be able to convey to people, as a people person already, things that you needed to accomplish to get the objectives done that you needed to do to set up the schools that you were working with.
Yeah, because I was a VP, so right. That's what I did in my expertise level. So it's not the strategies I get everything you're saying.
Okay, so as you can hear, we deep dive into strategies, and Lena's one of our clients that's getting great results. She's actually has a few different offers out already, and just getting her funnel set up and getting her system set up. So let's really jump into exactly what we do, exactly what we do with our students, and how we break down exactly what they need to do to lay that foundation to be able to, put together a working wholesaling business to build upon and continue to thrive with, bringing in deals, whether they're taking deals down themselves, doing lease options, as we mentioned in the call, or many of the other creative strategies that, we as investors should have in our toolbox to do so. Really quickly, again, for those that are just joining us, my name is Kevin Davis. This is the Deal Mastery Monday call, and we're talking about building your wholesaling business, laying that foundation. You're joining us as we provide information every Monday of systems, tools, processes, and the mindset you need in order to become a better investor, in order to become an investor, in order to do the things you want to do and accomplish your goals. All right. So laying the foundation, what does that exactly mean, really? What do you do when you typically lay a foundation? All of us are, obviously on this call as we are interested in real estate. So in real estate terms, what we're doing is setting the base, the groundwork that everything sits upon. If you have the right foundation, the right framework, the right, concrete set, then the house you build upon it, or the building you build upon it, or whatever that is going to be strong. It's going to thrive. It's going to last for a long time, and you won't have any issues. You don't want, water seeping into your business, just like you don't water seeping into your property, because it erodes that foundation. So the water we try and keep out is the doubt and the naysayers and the pitfalls and the walls that we put up and the things that we can't really, really get past. If we want to be successful, we have to get past them. So those are the things we try and lay a good foundation, so we have that sturdy wall, that foundation that keeps everything out, that keeps everything strong, above it. So the things that we typically implement is the understanding of utilizing your existing skill set. Everyone has at some point had some sort of experience, and most of us don't really realize that we have experience that we can easily transition into real estate. We're going to deep dive exactly what those utilized skill sets are and how we really try and break those down when we do our one-on-one call to figure out exactly what your strategy should be, what your particular plan should be, plan of action. You have to have a course of action in order to build your business strong. In order to have that foundation, that course of action has to be clear, it has to be concise, and it has to be understood exactly what you need to do to be able to get there. We're going to show you, how to lay the foundation with implementing the right systems. This is 2020. Everything has a system. Everything has a process forever, quite frankly. Doesn't matter if it's new or if it's old. Everything has a system, whether it's a right way or a wrong way to do something. You do it in a certain manner enough, then it's your system, it's your process. Now, do you have the right system? Do you have the right process in place? We break down and show you exactly which systems you want to put in place based on your goals, based on understanding where you're going in life, where you want to go in your investing career. So you figure out what systems need to put in place, what you already have in terms of skill set, and being able to supplement by delegation or automation. What does that mean? What does supplement by delegation or automation mean? It means that we have pitfalls. We have things that we lack. How many people have ever said, well, I wish I could be like this person, or I wish I had that skill set, or I wish I can talk to people like this, or I wish I had negotiating skills like that. I wish I had this or that. All the things that we say, we don't have in our particular skill set is what we want to supplement and delegate. You play towards your strengths and you offset your weaknesses until they become strengths. So we break down exactly what those things are, how they lay your foundation for building your business. Because quite frankly, if you don't have the right skills, if you don't identify the skills that are necessary, again, you don't have to have the right skills, but you have to understand what skills are needed, utilize the skills you already have, and supplement and delegate and automate for the skills that you don't have. And figuring out how to build that on the right system and process. Because if you have the right skills, if you delegate and automate, but you have the wrong process in place, you're doomed for failure. So it takes all three in combination to be able to make certain that you have the right foundation necessary to build that house of building your wholesaling business to where you want it to be. Give me a big yes if that resonates, if you understand that concept. We'll continue to move forward here.